All right, let's dive into government efficiency today.
Yeah.
Our source material is DOGE v1.pdf,
Okay.
and it lays out a plan for, like, a Department of Government Efficiency.
Mm.
DOGE for short.
DOGE.
It's not just a boring, like, proposal, though. It's
Wow.
like rethinking how government works.
It really is.
You know, the 21st century.
Yeah, it's really intriguing how the book, tackles it all. It goes beyond just, pointing out the problems.
Yeah.
It actually offers some, solutions.
Yeah.
It dives into AI, agile methods from the tech world.
Right.
And it even looks back at, past reform attempts
Huh?
to see what worked, what didn't.
So it's like a playbook to, like, upgrade the government.
Yeah.
I'm in. But, like, before we get into how DOGE would work,
Okay.
let's talk about why we even need it.
Sure.
The book paints a pretty stark picture.
It does, of
It's-
how things are now.
It starts by, highlighting
Mm-hmm.
the complexity of government these days.
Yeah.
Think about it. Healthcare,
Education, defense, infrastructure.
so much.
And the list just keeps growing.
Right.
And with each new, challenge,
Uh-huh.
the government has to do more,
Mm-hmm.
which leads to what the book calls
Yeah.
bureaucratic bloat.
Bureaucratic bloat,
Yeah.
that sounds bad.
It's like a system that's gotten so big
Right.
and so complicated that it, trips over itself.
Okay.
You get agencies duplicating work,
Ah.
processes get all tangled up,
Ugh.
resources get wasted, basically.
Wasted time, wasted money,
Yeah,
less effective government.
right.
No wonder people are frustrated.
And it's not just efficiency.
Okay.
It's accountability, too.
Yeah.
The book points out that, these days,
Yeah.
people want transparency. They
Mhm.
want to know where their taxes are going,
Makes sense.
how decisions get made.
Right.
When bureaucracy gets in the way, it
Yeah.
erodes trust.
Oh, yeah.
And that's bad for any democracy.
So we've got this complex government, more and more to do.
Mhm.
Public wants transparency,
Yeah.
and there's just so much inefficiency.
Yeah.
This is where DOGE comes in, right?
This is where DOGE comes in. It's
Doesn't
like
it so?
a potential solution.
Mm-hmm.
But the book gets even more interesting
Yeah.
when it talks about how DOGE could be set up. There's two main models.
All right.
DOGE as an actual federal agency
Mm-hmm.
with real power,
Okay.
and DOGE as more of an advisor.
Oh, interesting. So one DOGE has teeth,
Exactly.
and the other one is more like giving advice.
Yeah. Just hoping people listen.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I bet the pros and cons are kind of complicated.
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
If DOGE has direct authority,
Mm-hmm.
changes could happen quickly,
Right.
but that could cause problems too,
I bet.
especially with the existing bureaucracy.
Yeah.
People don't always change,
Yeah.
especially from a new department.
Stepping on their toes.
Exactly.
But if DOGE is just an advisor,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it all depend on if other agencies cooperate? Like, what if they just ignore DOGE?
That's the big challenge.
Yeah.
It's all about persuasion and collaboration. Then much slower process.
For sure.
The book doesn't pretend it's easy.
Okay.
It knows finding the right balance is important,
Right.
no matter how DOGE is set up.
It sounds like there's no easy answers,
Not really, no.
but just talking about it is valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes us really think about how change happens
Mm-hmm.
in a system as big as our government.
That's what makes the book so interesting.
Yeah.
It's not just proposing a new department.
Right.
It's starting a conversation
Uh-huh.
about how to make government better.
More efficient, more accountable,
Yeah.
more responsive.
To the needs of the people.
So let's get into some specifics.
Okay.
What are some of the key strategies here?
Well, the book has a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Each one targets a different part of government.
Okay.
One of the big ones is these comprehensive audits.
Wait, audits?
Yeah.
Aren't those all about spreadsheets and stuff?
Not necessarily. These audits would be a deep dive
Mhm.
into how each agency works.
Whoa, wow.
Looking for redundancies, bottlenecks, places where resources are wasted.
So it's not just about finding wasted money.
Right.
It's about figuring out why it's wasted
Exactly.
and fixing the problems.
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
We'll get into those solutions in part 2.
Awesome. Can't wait. Okay, so we're back.
Back for more.
Ready to dig into some of DOGE's strategies.
Yeah, let's get specific.
In part 1, we were talking about those deep audits.
Right, those really thorough ones.
So how would those audits actually lead to change?
Well, the book has some interesting scenarios.
Okay.
Imagine DOGE audits 2 different departments,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both handling environmental regulations, which happens a lot these days.
Yeah, I can see that leading to problems.
Oh, yeah.
Like Duplicated effort,
Right.
conflicting rules, confusion,
Exactly.
not very efficient.
So DOGE would uncover those problems and then recommend like a streamlined approach. Maybe they'd combine those departments
Okay.
or at least set up better communication.
So they're working together.
Yeah, more cohesively.
Makes sense. But let's go beyond just like structure.
Sure.
The book also mentions DOGE evaluating regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are they actually effective?
That's a tough one.
How do you even measure that?
It is tricky, but the book suggests cost-benefit analysis,
Okay.
basically weighing the good a regulation does against how much it costs.
To implement and enforce.
Exactly.
So it's not always about getting rid of regulations.
Right.
It's about making sure they're actually working.
And that they're not too burdensome.
On businesses or individuals.
Exactly.
Smart regulation.
That's the idea.
All right, now for everyone's favorite topic,
Oh, boy.
money.
Yeah.
One of those most exciting things about DOGE
I agree.
is how it could cut government waste.
Yeah.
The book has some interesting budgeting ideas.
It does.
One that caught my eye is zero-based budgeting.
Oh, yeah, that's a radical limb.
Instead of just using last year's budget,
Mm-hmm.
you start from scratch each year.
Every single expense has to be justified.
Wow, a clean slate.
That's the idea.
I can see that uncovering a lot of waste,
Yeah.
but wouldn't it take a lot of time,
It would be a huge undertaking.
especially for big agencies?
The book says it would probably be phased in.
Okay.
Start with a few agencies.
Right, like a pilot program.
See how it works and then scale it up.
But even if it's not everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
that mindset of justifying every expense
Yeah.
could be really valuable.
I think so.
More responsible spending.
Definitely.
The book also talks about performance-based budgeting,
Right.
which seems like a good partner to zero-based.
Absolutely. They go hand in hand.
So zero-based is about the inputs.
Yeah. Each dollar spent.
Performance-based is about the outputs.
The results you get.
Making sure those dollars are actually achieving something
That's it.
instead of just throwing money at a problem.
Right.
Agencies have to prove they're getting results.
Exactly.
But measuring those outcomes in government,
yeah.
that's got to be hard.
It is. But the book has some examples.
Give me one.
Okay, let's take education.
Right?
Instead of just funding schools based on enrollment,
Mhm.
you tie the funding to outcomes,
Like what?
like student achievement,
Okay.
graduation rates,
Uh-huh.
things that show the quality of education.
That makes a lot of sense.
Schools are incentivized to get results.
I like it, but let's shift gears a bit.
Sure.
We can't talk government efficiency
Mm-hmm.
without talking technology.
You're right. It's essential.
The book goes all in on this.
It does.
It's how DOGE could use technology to modernize everything.
Streamline things, make it all work better.
Okay, hit me with the highlights.
What kind of tech are we talking?
Yeah, what's the vision here?
Well, imagine agencies using cloud computing
Okay.
to share data easily.
Breaking down those silos.
Exactly.
To get in the way.
And then imagine automating routine tasks,
With AI.
right? Freeing up employees to do more important work
Interesting.
and using data to anticipate problems.
Like what kind of problems?
Natural disasters,
Hey, wow.
public health crises.
Before they get out of control.
That's the idea.
This is starting to sound pretty futuristic.
It is exciting.
But technology can be a double-edged sword.
True.
What about cybersecurity?
Yeah, that's a big concern.
With all this digital stuff,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't the government be more vulnerable?
The book addresses that directly.
Okay, good.
It says cybersecurity would be top priority for DOGE,
I would hope so.
working with experts to implement the best security,
Right.
making sure data is protected, and constantly adapting to new threats.
So it's not just about using new technology.
No.
It's about using it responsibly.
Securely, strategically,
Exactly.
and it's about remembering technology is only as good
Yeah.
as the people using it.
A human factor.
That's right.
Even with the best tech and processes,
Yeah.
it all comes down to the people.
The people implementing it.
The book spends a whole chapter on this.
It does.
Attracting and keeping top talent.
Mm.
Investing in training.
Yeah.
Building a culture of improvement. So it's not just about cutting jobs
No.
or automating everything.
It's about investing in people.
Empowering them to do their best.
That might mean changing how we recruit people,
Okay.
creating more opportunities for advancement, even offering better pay and benefits.
To compete with the private sector.
Exactly, if you want the best people.
You got to offer them something good.
That's right.
It makes sense.
And it's not just about skills.
Right.
It's about building a culture.
That values efficiency,
Innovation.
public service.
The book says DOGE could shape that culture.
How so?
leadership programs,
Yeah.
knowledge sharing, rewarding people who go above and beyond.
DOGE wearing a lot of hats here.
Analyst, auditor, tech guru, culture ambassador.
Wow, that's a lot.
But let's step back for a second and look at some real-world examples
Yes. The book mentions other countries.
that have done this well.
Who are the standouts?
Singapore and New Zealand. They've both embraced digital government, performance-based budgeting, citizen engagement,
Getting people involved.
and they've seen great results.
So DOGE could learn from them.
Definitely. But the book is careful to say
Okay.
it's not about just popping what they did.
Right. Every country is different.
Exactly what works in Singapore.
Might not work here.
You got to tailor it to the U.S. context.
It's about taking inspiration and figuring out how to make it work for us. We've covered a lot.
We have.
Streamlining regulations, embracing technology,
Keeping the focus on people.
both government employees and citizens.
Right.
But there's still one big question.
What's that?
How do we make sure DOGE's impact lasts?
Ah, the sustainability question.
Not just a temporary blip.
Right. How do we make it stick?
Okay, so back for the final part.
Yeah, part 3.
And I'm really curious about this whole sustainability thing.
Yeah, making the changes stick.
We've explored all these cool strategies for making government more efficient.
Right.
But how do we prevent DOGE from just fading away,
That's the big question.
becoming another forgotten initiative?
Yeah, lost in the bureaucracy.
The book actually tackles this head on.
It does.
It argues that real impact doesn't come from just setting up a new department.
Right.
It's about changing the culture of government,
Totally.
like embedding efficiency into its DNA.
That's a great way to put it.
So DOGE can't just be efficient itself.
Right.
It needs to inspire efficiency everywhere.
Across the whole government.
That sounds really hard.
It's a big challenge for sure.
But the book lays out a plan.
Okay.
It starts with leadership.
Makes sense.
Leaders at all levels
From the top to the bottom.
need to champion efficiency,
Lead by example,
walk the walk,
not just talk the talk.
showing that they prioritize efficiency.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words.
But even with good leadership, don't we need to give employees the right tools
Absolutely.
to actually implement these changes?
The book talks about ongoing training programs
Right.
that teach people how to spot and eliminate waste.
Yeah, in their own work.
So everyone becomes an efficiency advocate.
Exactly, empowering everyone to make a difference.
I like that, a grassroots movement.
Yeah, coming from within.
But don't we also need some kind of framework?
To guide every...
Make sure we're all on the same page?
The book suggests clear policies
Okay.
that prioritize efficiency and reward innovation,
Interesting.
incentivizing agencies to adopt best practices,
Streamline their work.
embrace new technologies.
So efficiency is built into the system.
Yeah, not just an afterthought.
Okay, so leadership buy-in,
Check.
employee training,
Check.
clear policies.
Right.
What else do we need?
Well, you can't improve what you don't measure.
True.
So the book talks about performance measurement, setting up key performance indicators.
API?
Yeah, those measurable targets.
That show progress towards efficiency goals.
Exactly like cost savings,
Okay.
processing time,
Like for applications and stuff.
or even customer satisfaction.
For government services.
It's about using data to see what's working
Identifying problems.
and making adjustments.
It's like taking the pulse of government efficiency.
That's a good way to think about it.
And the book also emphasizes continuous improvement,
Yeah, it's an ongoing process.
not a one-time fix.
Always looking for ways to do better.
Streamlining processes,
Adopting new technologies.
learning from both successes and failures.
That's how you stay ahead of the curve.
So DOGE would need to be constantly evolving,
Yeah, super dynamic.
adapting to the changing needs of the government.
And the public it serves.
The book even suggests regular reviews
Mm-hmm.
of efficiency initiative
Making sure they're still relevant.
and effective as things change.
Like a regular tune-up for the government.
I like that a lot. Keeps everything running smoothly.
But we've focused on DOGE's impact internally.
Within the government.
What about its relationship with the public?
Ah, yeah, accountability.
How do we make sure DOGE answers to the citizens?
The book really stresses transparency
Yeah.
and citizen engagement.
Getting people involved?
DOGE could make government more accessible
Okay.
and responsive to what people need.
So a government that actually listens to people,
Yeah.
uses that feedback to improve services, and clearly explains how things work,
That's the idea.
building trust between the government and the people.
That's essential for any democracy.
Okay, so we've explored how DOGE
Make government more efficient,
more accountable.
more citizen-centric.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Creating something like DOGE would be huge.
Yeah, a massive undertaking.
There are going to be challenges.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
book acknowledges that.
Anytime you try to change a big system, you're going to meet resistance.
Yeah, people don't always like change.
Especially when it threatens their jobs.
Or their power.
It's human nature.
So how can DOGE overcome those challenges?
The book emphasizes communication,
Yeah.
collaboration, getting everyone on board with the vision of a more efficient government,
Showing them how they can be part of it.
maybe running pilot programs,
To show how DOGE's strategies work.
highlighting successes.
Getting input from employees and the public.
It's about working together.
Realizing we're all in this together.
Yeah, a more efficient government benefits everyone.
And the book reminds us this is a long-term thing.
No quick fixes.
Creating a truly efficient government.
Takes time and effort.
Constant adaptation.
A willingness to try new things.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a good way to put it.
So where does this leave us?
The listener.
What should we take away from all this?
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Into DOGE.
we want you to remember
Even though DOGE is just an idea,
the goal of a more efficient government.
it's something we should all care about.
It affects all of us.
It's about holding our leaders accountable.
Having conversations about how to improve things.
Maybe even taking inspiration from some of these ideas.
And if you're interested in learning more,
The book is a great place to start.
DOGEV1.pdf.
Full of thought-provoking concepts.
And practical strategies.
For making government work better.
DOGE itself might be hypothetical.
But the problems it addresses are very real.
So as you go about your day,
Think about the government inefficiencies.
that affect your life.
What solutions would you like to see?
What role can you play in making government better?
Remember,
Making government better.
is a journey.
And we're all on it together.